Hello, environmental science scholars. In today's class, we're going to be creating a trophic pyramid of a biome of your choice that looks a little bit like this. So here, of course, we've got an aquatic biome. Here is a desert biome. How do we start? The first thing that you're going to want to do is go to Google Classroom. You're going to find a few links, including to this website where you're going to identify the biome of your choice. And then if you'd like, you can Google trophic pyramids to find a few visuals that will give you a little bit of inspiration. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a trophic pyramid today for a coniferous forest. And let's do a little bit of review. So what do we know? We know that if we hide this layer, right? So I copied and pasted images from Google Chrome into Adobe Photoshop, and the very top tool, the toolbar, is the Move tool. We remember that if we check this, if we click it, we can then grab layers and we can sort of shift them around like so. And what we also remember is that if the layer is selected in the Layers palette, if we press Command T and then grab a corner, we can change the size of the layer, and then what we're going to want to do is press Check to confirm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce the size, and if we wanted to change this grasshopper, make it a little bit bigger, we're going to make sure that it's selected in Layers palette. We're going to press Command T, and then if we grab this corner, we can shift it like this, but that looks kind of weird, right? As does this, it's skewed. If we hold Shift, if we press Command T and we hold Shift, what that does is it keeps it proportional. It keeps the height and the width linked. So that's pretty awesome. All right, so we've got all these different layers, and we also remember that what's ever on top in the Layers palette is also on top in the canvas. So we're going to be creating something that looks a little bit like this. If you've got some experience in Photoshop, you can add a little background. Maybe you want to add yourself holding the world at your fingertips. But minimally, you're going to produce something that looks a little bit like this. And we're going to start with this template. So when we open this up in Photoshop, you're going to see two layers in your layers palette. We're going to have the trophic pyramid, and above it, we're going to have the labels, which is just that text right there, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to return to Google Chrome, and I know that we're doing trophic pyramid for the coniferous forest, and we're going to start with some evergreens. This is going to be at the producer layer. And to add this image to Photoshop, to get this in there, what we're going to do is we're going to right click, and then we're going to select copy image. I'm going to left click on copy image. We're going to return to Photoshop, and we're going to press Command V to paste. And so I can see that it's, it's right there, but it's on top of the trophic pyramid layer. I don't want that. So let's left click. We're going to drag it beneath it. We're going to change the size by pressing Command T, and I'm going to sort of shift it so it looks a little bit like this, and I can see that. I think that looks pretty cool right there. I can also notice that this layer itself, it's sort of bleeding over to the first order consumer layer, right? So we're going to have to conceal that with our herbivore. Where is it? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the blue jays, and you'll see that I've actually got all these other images queued up. So I'm going to include the owl and the lynx as our tertiary predator. But right now, let's select the blue jay and what looks good. This one's pretty cool. So we're going to right click. We're going to select copy image. We're going to go to Photoshop. We're going to press Command V. That's huge, right? That's super big. I'm going to press Command C. I'm going to grab the corner. I was holding Shift to keep it proportional. And yeah, that looks pretty good right there. And when we're happy with the size and we've got it where we want it, we're going to click that check to confirm. And what I notice is also is that we've got all this space left over, so we can include either other species, or you can include other examples of blue jays. And this looks like a pretty high-res image. I'm going to right-click and press Command V, Command T. I'm holding Shift when I'm dragging that corner. I'm keeping it proportional. And these two blue jays are talking to each other. They're having a conversation. So let's grab our second order consumer. You guys are going to fill in the gaps. There's lots of pretty nifty owls here, but I like this one. We're going to right click, copy image, Command V, and let's grab this Command T. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. This owl is pretty gangster. Alright, so what I'm also going to do is I'm going to drag this beneath the Blue Jays layer, right? And so that looks pretty awesome right there. And now we need our final image at the top, the third order consumer. Let's grab this links, and there's lots of cool ones in here. You're gonna want to, I don't know, make sure that whatever image you choose fits the constraints of this pyramid well. So this link doesn't look super intimidating, um, but it does look pretty cool. That's awesome. All right, so we've got quite a few images in here that represent this forest, but how do we label this? So to add text so that it says trophic pyramid of forest, what we're going to do is we're going to return to the toolbar, and we know that the move tool has been selected. But what we're going to do is we're going to shift to this icon right here, the T, and that's the type tool. So we're going to make sure that's selected, and when it is, we're going to want to make sure again that we're in the top layer, because whatever is on top is what we see in Photoshop, and we're going to just simply write forest or aquatic biome or desert or whatever is specific and appropriate for what you're designing. And I'm going to return to the move tool, and I'm going to shift this down right here, and that looks pretty cool. If we're going to add your name, again, we're going to want to make sure that the T is selected, and I'm going to write Mr. Drozd 2017. And I'm going to press check. I'm going to use the move tool to shift this over, and this is a little bit big, so I'm going to press Command T. I'm going to hold shift, and I'm going to grab the corner, and that looks pretty awesome right there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm super excited to see what you're going to produce. To save your work and submit it, what we're going to need to do is we're going to have to go to File and then Save As. And for today's work, what we're going to be doing is saving it as a JPEG, and I'll talk about that in a quick second. First, the file name, so I can see that it says blank trophic pyramid. What you're going to do is you're going to write your name. I'm simply going to write Drozd. Great. And the file type default is Photoshop. This is a PSD, so that if we wanted to go back and make changes and edit it later on, we could do that. But what we're going to do today is simply change it to a JPEG file or a JPG file. So it's going to look a little bit like this. So it's going to be first name, last name, trophic pyramid as a JPEG file. We're going to press save, and then we're going to press OK, and you guys are going to be good money. You're going to definitely save and upload this JPEG file to Google Classroom, and we're going to take a look at it in a little bit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, good luck. Let me know if you have any questions.